this morning in tutorials in Sweden. I realized two things. The first thing is that I confuse those students with my Alicante students. I mean, teaching online as I was talking to them, and at certain moment, I started laughing because I realized that I was giving references about field architecture to what I consider they were students from Alicante. So that is a very nice confusion, you know, that how this online teaching doesn't establish differences between all of us. The other thing I realized is that most of my references, they belong to tricks. There are memorable references, experiences that I never forget. So from here, I would like to make a reflection, and is that what happens the moment we go back to the teaching face-to-face, at least in Spain, that we are not doing all of us, or in a normal condition. And if I think we should, once we have been teaching online and learning from this new media, we should redesign the teaching online. It cannot be the same. And so, just 30 minutes ago, we had a meeting, the teachers of universities, and I was saying that it could be good to start thinking from the online how we would like to be the new face-to-face class. And indeed, we are applying for fundings, and the idea is that being funding applied for the online system, you have money to make the face-to-face much more experiential, with many field trips, with many workshops, and with the lunches and corresponding dinners. And in that sense, one of my memorable dinners, it was in Nicosia. I think that 4 or 5 years ago now, after seeing work by Yorgos Hadjichristou, having dinner with him, with another good friend of us, that you know, Markela, then I was asking him, would you like, Yorgos, to come to Alicante to show your work and to have a workshop with my students? But he was telling me, Javier, I'm very busy. And I would love it. I would love it, but I'm very busy. And it's true. It's true. I mean, he was telling me, I'm teaching here, I'm running my office. I haven't got time at this moment. In the future. But then he said, but if you want, I can invite you for a drink in my house. Well, let's go. When we went there, it was amazing because it was a house that to go from room to room, it took a long time because every room was full of stories and it was like an scenario where you could see not only past stories, but future stories for that.
Eso es prohibido.
Continue, please.
And it was a moment, because he was showing me all the rooms, it was a moment that we went into the kitchen, and from the kitchen, we saw even the storage room. Imagine how designed everything, the storage room. But in the storage room, I saw a sack of rice. This rice is not a small sack of rice that you buy as a souvenir. It was a real sack. And it was marked, printed on the sack, rice from Calasparra, Murcia. And that is my city. And they said, but Yorgos, why do you have it? The rice from my region here. And then he told me the story, but basically it's his diet. It has been a diet of him for years. And then in that moment, I took advantage and I told him, Yorgos, if you come to Murcia, to Alicante, I promise to invite you, I will take you to Murcia to see where your rice grows, and I will invite you for a paella. And I convinced him. Then he came, he made time, and he came to that memorable trip. Indeed, once he left, we started to campaign to name him in Calasparra the adoptive son. But that is another story.
No, maybe you tell the story, that is the lecture.
After the lecture.
Moving around.
But now what I wanted to say, I mean, why we are here, I mean, it is a saying I was told that one has to measure the quality of an architect not by his or her public buildings, but by the homes they design. Then I want to test here Yorgos in this port talk, and I have to say that it's even more difficult when you design a house to be your home. So please, let's have a toast for our host, Yorgos.
Wait a minute. I may have to decline this. I will keep moving around. I will make a small presentation about the house. So I think up until here, it's where the Wi-Fi gets connection, and this is one of the rooms. I wanted to make it, but it's like I don't have all the technology to show you the house from different aspects. So we're moving around. Since I'm going to start the presentation like a protocol, I will mention a few things from the beginning of the presentation, that the house is a kind of a traditional house that was refurbished back in 2007. That's where we moved in the house. This is part of the house.
Hello.
This is my wife, Kali.
Hello.
Some of you know her already.
Yes.
It's Luna, Maria Luna, Javier, and more people. So it would have been a great idea to continue this, but let me share my screen so I communicate more what I wanted to present to you. Oh, I wanted to introduce first of all that I am from Famagusta, which is a ghost city in Cyprus in the Mediterranean Sea. And it's under occupation. Nobody lives there since 74. Right now I live along the dead zone in Nicosia, which again is a ghost area, but it's a kind of a porosity energy that gives retrofits myself, let's say, think differently. Schizophrenically, if you wish, because I studied in ex-Soviet Union for 7 years and 2 years in Japan. Therefore, I speak Russian, I speak Japanese, and that creates a kind of a different kind of mindset, if you wish, to approach architecture. And without noticing in the beginning, but right now I'm very aware of, I'm obsessed by the notion of this courtyard typology, which was forged through nearly thousands of years, but the colonization of the British brought its the worst impact on our island due to the enactment of urban regulations. The continuation of the courtyard typology cannot be continued. They segregated us from the wisdom of our tradition. Therefore, my office tries a lot through different projects to evolve, if you wish, this courtyard typology. At the same time, I'm interested in the human experience and in the notion of place. So this is the house which I found when I was looking for a home, if you wish. So this was the result of a door system. The two sisters, they cut the house in the middle with a saw, and the left part was demolished, the traditional part, and something else was built. And the right-hand side was sort of amended in temporary way to fit their purposes. So this is what I found when I entered the house back in 1997. I think it was the first time I've seen it. It was abandoned and many elements were hidden. So while starting working, I thought of various ways how to, not to revive, if you wish, the corti typology or the gist that this wisdom offered us, but rather to evolve in it, to it other parameters of the contemporary times. So this is the plan, 3 bedrooms, sitting, dining, and this is how it works. Actually, the traditional part, which is visible, you see, is stable, sort of. And the rest of the elements, they are out of panels, sliding panels, opening doors, which they can be packed at certain positions on certain footprint of the house. And the house becomes like an open air camping site or whatever you want to name it. And this is the result. While you're sitting outdoors, you are surrounded with this intimacy of vegetation, of the air, and it creates kind of an oasis for us to be here. So this makes feeling this notion of oneness, this notion that we're part of an entity, and we're equal parts with the weather in the house that penetrates it, but you can control it, with vegetation, with the rain, with everything. So this sort of facilitates us the opportunity to choreograph our everyday rituals. So the experience is first element that you can feel in the house. So the material aspect of architecture here, although you see a lot of materiality, it's the primary goal. So, and the way that, as Jonathan Hill suggests, the weather architecture takes a big role and gives to the weather as a co-author of the architecture and the architect in this house. So, following Johanni Palasma's notion about the building, not as a noun, which is very static, yeah, and very symbolic and has other connotation, he sees architecture as a verb, where the behaviors of the people with connecting and disconnecting, etc., may trigger this fluidity of spaces, fluidity of interexchange of materiality and immaterial aspect of an architecture. So the building is not an end itself, yeah? It's something that lives on and we live together with it. It frames, it gives significance, it relates, it prohibits and facilitates, as you see. This is my son's bedroom while I'm talking. So it's not definitely a noun. It's more than that. So this verbal behavior of this built environment, it led me to start thinking about different kind, if you wish, of typologies of the contemporary time deriving from the tradition, which is the malleability, or if you wish, I call them malleable courtier typologies, which I also use in different projects of mine. Here you can see it from above in the context of the neighborhood, which is fortunately it was a sort of segregated area along the dead zone, therefore it wasn't developed. Therefore, not many traditional buildings were ruined or vegetation. And that's what you see from above. It looks like a troglodyte. So yes, this house is open to life. Vegetation becomes a parameter of the house. Sorry, I heard some sound. And it becomes a balustrade, a shading device, a swiveling device. As you can see here, it gives life not only literally because it's vegetation, but it gives the skin and the bone, if you wish, of the architecture. So this continuous fluidity, as you can see here, negotiates what is private and what is more public, what it can be connected all disconnecting as you see here. And these notions of uncertainty or vulnerability of contingency, they are parameters of the house which make us probably more humane, if you wish, not so sure about things, because everything it can be so fragile in terms of your own privacy or your own socializing with other members of the family or with guests. By the way, every summer when we're away from this house, we give it to friends. You're also friends, and we give it for free, taking account that they take care of the vegetation and of our doggy. So this is how the house works when it's closed and when it's open. And this, of course, sort of contributes a lot to the microclimate of the house and the bioclimatic behavior of it. It was chosen by Europe as the most representative sustainable house in Cyprus in an exhibition, one project from each European country. And so you see here from the very entrance, you can see things altering, which they weren't allowed by the regulation Cyprus, but there was a lot of fight to do that. I mean, moving panels in front of the arch, and you see other panels moving around. And when you reach the one of the courtyards, you discover some weaving of circulations within the building. And also this I go very quickly with the furniture, where you find ways that they are not imposed onto the presence of this atopy wall, which is very thick walls, but they are sort of fluid themselves also, like this furniture where bears the stories of our family or the hanging pieces of art given by friends of ours, or even the bed that changes its mood and the stair that flies away. I wanted to show you today. I wanted to be on the stair going up, but the internet didn't reach that space. And you're welcome to visit us. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Yorgos.
Take good care, Luna. Let's talk tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you, Yorgos.
Get better, Luna.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Yorgos. Great
Bye.
house. Thank you for
Oh,
sharing.
fantastic, fantastic.
Bye-bye.